Today is the last round of play-in games that will round out the rest of the NBA playoffs. Warriors are seeking to be just the second 10-seed play-in team to make the playoffs, joining the Heat of last season. Meanwhile, the Hornets are seeking their first playoff appearance since the 2015-16 season. It's the longest active drought in the association. NBA analyst Iman Shumpert joins us to break down these matchups. And Chump, the Warriors are coming off that big comeback win over the Clippers. Steph Curry led the Dubs with 35 points, making it look effortless, while on a minutes restriction. So what's the formula for Golden State to beat the Suns tonight?
I think the formula stays the same. Golden State knows how they play, and they know what they like to do, alongside the fact that they have some veteran leadership that not only comes off the bench but starts out there with a championship pedigree. They understand how to make sure they play through Steph. I thought the great thing about last game was that Steph Curry didn't get it going until later on, right? But getting it going with Steph Curry does not mean a bunch of ISO basketball. Anytime Steph Curry gets it going, it means that your team is encouraged to play together. That means there's a lot of cutting, there's a lot of movement, there's a lot of dribble handoffs, actions. Steph Curry scores off of going off of actions. Anytime Steph Curry gets in a mode like that, it means your team cohesion has come together. That's a direct indication. But the biggest thing to watch for me with this matchup is to see who makes decisions on the Phoenix Suns side. Is there going to be another game where Jalen Green makes all the decisions instead of running things through Devin Booker? Because running things through Devin Booker kind of does the same thing on the other side. But it's going to be an interesting game to see how they compete tonight.
And meanwhile, Shump, the first game tonight in the Eastern Conference, the Magic taking on the Hornets. Charlotte coming off that thrilling overtime victory, I should say, over the Heat on Tuesday. LaMelo Ball had 30 in that one. Wasn't quite efficient, though. What does he need to do to lead the Hornets to a win tonight?
He needs to continue to stay aggressive. LaMelo Ball did an incredible job of making sure that though he wasn't shooting the ball as well, though Con Knippel wasn't shooting the ball as well, it didn't deteriorate him from getting downhill and making sure that I'm going to keep pressure on the defense. And not only am I going to break through with your guards, I'm going to make sure to put pressure on your backline guys. I'm going to make sure to put pressure on guys to have to rotate 1 or 2 times, maybe 3 times. It doesn't matter. You have to stay aggressive in those ways, because settling sometimes with just threes without actions can lead to a defense keeping their legs and then getting onto the other end in transition. So I think he just needs to stay aggressive, make sure that they take good shots so shots land around the rim.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Tonight is the final night of the NBA play-in tournament, and we have 2 massive games. In the East, the Charlotte Hornets take on the Orlando Magic for the right to face the number 1 seed Detroit Pistons. In the West, the Golden State Warriors face the Phoenix Suns for the right to face the defending champion Oklahoma City Thunder. The Warriors are trying to become just the second 10 seed in play-in history to make the playoffs, joining the Miami Heat from last season. The Hornets are trying to make their first playoff appearance since the 2015-16 season. That is the longest active drought in the NBA. And Iman Shumpert joined Get Up this morning to break down both matchups. He had some bold predictions. Let me show you exactly what he said. Roll the clip. Did you catch that? Let me break this down because Shumpert made some great points. First, he talked about the Warriors. He said the formula stays the same. Golden State knows how they play and they know what they like to do. They have veteran leadership with championship pedigree. They understand how to make sure they play through Steph Curry. And here is the key. Shumpert said, anytime Steph Curry gets it going, it means your team is encouraged to play together. That means there is a lot of cutting, a lot of movement, a lot of dribble handoffs. Steph Curry scores off of going off of actions. Anytime Steph Curry gets in a mode like that, it means your team cohesion has come together. That is the difference between the Warriors and other teams. When Steph is rolling, the entire offense flows. It is not isolation basketball. It is ball movement, player movement, and chemistry. And that is hard to stop. But Shumpert also pointed out the X factor for the Suns. He said, the biggest thing to watch for me with this matchup is to see who makes decisions on the Phoenix Suns side. Is there going to be another game where Jalen Green makes all the decisions instead of running things through Devin Booker? Because running things through Devin Booker kind of does the same thing on the other side. That is a great point. The Suns have to let Devin Booker be the engine. If Jalen Green or Kevin Durant try to do too much, the offense becomes stagnant. And against a Warriors team that is clicking, that is a recipe for disaster. Now, let's talk about the Hornets and Magic. Shumpert said LaMelo Ball needs to continue to stay aggressive. He said, LaMelo Ball did an incredible job of making sure that though he wasn't shooting the ball as well, though Canapel wasn't shooting the ball as well, it didn't deteriorate him from getting downhill and making sure that I'm going to keep pressure on the defense. That is the mark of a mature player. LaMelo was 12 for 31 from the field in the last game. He was 2 for 16 from 3. That is awful shooting. But he did not stop attacking. He kept putting pressure on the defense. He kept getting to the rim. He kept making plays. And that is why the Hornets won. Shumpert added, settling sometimes with just threes without actions can lead to a defense keeping their legs and then getting onto the other end in transition. So, LaMelo has to keep driving, keep collapsing the defense, and keep creating opportunities for his teammates. If he does that, the Hornets have a real chance. Now, let me give you my take on both games. The Warriors are the more experienced team. They have been here before. They have Steph Curry. They have Draymond Green. They have Steve Kerr. And they are playing with house money. No one expected them to be here. No one expects them to beat the Suns. But that is when they are most dangerous. The Suns have Kevin Durant. They have Devin Booker. They have home court. But they also have pressure. If they lose to a 10-seed Warriors team that is old and banged up, that is a disaster. The questions will be loud. And they should be. I think the Warriors win tonight. I think Steph Curry has another vintage performance. I think Draymond locks up Kevin Durant the way he locked up Kawhi Leonard. And I think the role players, Al Horford, Kristaps Porzingis, Gui Santos, step up again. As for the Hornets and Magic, I am taking Charlotte. They have the momentum. They have LaMelo Ball. They have Canapel, who is going to bounce back from a terrible shooting night. They have Miles Bridges and Brandon Miller. And they have the swagger of a team that believes they be. Long. The Magic have been a disappointment all season. They had high expectations. They underachieved. Their coach, Jamal Mosley, might be coaching for his job. And they do not have the same chemistry or accountability that Charlotte has built over the second half of the season. So, give me the Hornets and give me the Warriors. And if both win, we get a first-round matchup of the Hornets against the Pistons, which would be must-see TV because those teams do not like each other, and the Warriors against the Thunder, which would be a chance to see if the dynasty has one more run left. I want to know what you think. Do the Warriors beat the Suns? And do the Hornets make the playoffs for the first time in a decade? Let me know in the comments. I read every single one. If you enjoyed this breakdown, hit that like button. It really helps the channel. And subscribe if you want to stay locked in. We are building something real here. See you next time. Peace.